Hey, hey. Okay, I'm covering half my face because I'm going to show you guys the big reveal of Demi Colour today. So this side is done, and you may think like, oh, that looks like supernatural. It doesn't look like she has much on, but I can tell like something's different. So here it is without. So look at that difference. So different. Okay. So, hoping my baby doesn't wake up from his nap. So I'm going to try to make this quick for you guys today. Let me get this shared. Bear with me. So, if you haven't heard yet, Demi Colour is the new line by Seint. I'm trying to share this while I'm talking and not doing a good job at it. Okay. So Seint was formerly known as Mascara Beauty. We just rebranded. So if you're wondering what Seint is just Mascara Beauty. Because I've been getting a lot of questions about that. So Demi Colour is our new line. So 3D Foundation is the other line. It's the makeup that you typically see me using. And Demi Colour is our new line. So just think of it as like two separate children. That's the easiest way to think of it. So this is my Demi Colour palette. So Demi has like its own palettes, its own brushes, separate from the 3D foundation line that you usually see me wearing. And I put a bunch of info in the description if you tap it. So this is what my palette looks like. So you look at it and you think, oh, it's like an eyeshadow palette. Hey, Mika. But it's not an eyeshadow palette. This is actually my entire face of makeup because what it uses is the color wheel to use complementary colors to neutralize and filter out any distractions. We're not covering, we're just filtering so that your skin's natural luminosity shines through, like on this side. So that's basically how it works. So it definitely, I know it sounds super complicated, but when it comes down to it, it's actually really easy. It's really not bad at all. You just need to learn a few things and I'm going to teach them to you. And then once you get those, it just clicks and it's awesome. And the cool part about it is we don't cover every part of our skin with it because your skin is the most luminous thing that there is, more luminous than even glitter. So by not covering every inch of our skin, you just glow so much more. So that's what's so cool about it. So I want to show it to you guys in action because I haven't gotten to do that on this page yet. If you're interested in Demi, I did put a quiz. It's not really a color match because everybody gets all the colors with this, but I can kind of steer you towards like which Demi, they comes like mostly in bundles, would be best for you. And also the link just to look at it and watch videos and all that is there too. Okay, so with Demi, I'll just like give you a little breakthrough of my palette. So the darker colors are going to be your lip and cheek, so lips and cheeks. And then in the middle, I have my sculpts, which is kind of like a contour. And then they're like really light, bright colors. We call them a level 1. They are, and the numbers just have to do with how much saturation is it. Those are the ones that we use to neutralize and to filter out. So normally what I do when I'm going to do my face with Demi is I look at my face and I say, okay, what do I want to do first? What do I like about it that I want to enhance the most? So for me, that's always brows, lashes, and lips. So what I do before I do anything to my complexion, and this can even be good to do whatever foundation you use. This is not foundation, by the way, so I'll show you that in a minute. It takes place of your foundation. So my eyebrows, I tint them. I have a video on that. And then I just used the Glossier Brow Flick to fill in my brows. I put on a lip plumping gloss and then I put on some mascara. So already when you start there, you're going to notice like less and less distractions on your face. That enhances so much that you aren't going to feel like you need to do a ton more. Because what happens is, and this is the premise of 3D foundation too. We put a blank layer of foundation on our face. We wash out all of the color. Then we end up adding everything back in with like blushes and contours on top of foundation and this and this and that. And when you do that, you end up with creasing and a really cakey makeup look. So even the 3D foundation, like the premise of that is one layer so that it's not cakey. And so that you really get a luminous glow from it. And 3D foundation uses all this color science too. This is just like an even more fine-tuned version of it. I still wear 3D foundation all the time. This is just a more fine-tuned version of it. That's all. And you can wear both. You can pick one. You can't wear both at the same time, but don't feel like if you wear a 3D foundation that you have to like give that up for this. You can, this is just an alternative. That's it. And you may want to give it up for this because a lot of people fall in love with it. And the reason why is because you'll fall in love with your beauty, not the beauty of the makeup you're wearing. And that's what's really cool about it. And I just did a post on that you can kind of read like my testimonial with it. Okay. So I have brows, lashes, lips done. This half of my face is mostly done, okay? Just so you guys could see it for the sake of time. And then what I do is I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in and add some dimension first. Because often when you add dimension, any distractions, as we call them in that area, don't really matter anymore. And we're going to use the color wheel. So even these contours have a color to them. So for instance, this one, they're neutrals, so they're called an N, and then this one is like a neutral red, an NR. There's a neutral orange, a neutral yellow, and you're gonna look at that area of your skin and say, okay, for me, I'm olive, which is like a greenish undertone. So for me, a neutral red, an NR, is gonna be what I want to use pretty much all over. For a lot of you, you'll be like either green, blue in this area, then you'll get some like purpley blue up here, and then you'll be back to like kind of like a blue ashy color down here, and then you would use the corresponding color on the opposite side of the color wheel. So my light's a little bit funky on here. So the opposite of green on the color wheel, and you get one of those with your Demi kit, is red. So that's why I'm using red, because that's what's going to neutralize. And part of that is I also use fake tanner on my face, so it just gives me like a really olivey undertones. And this is not creating coverage, it's just filtering and toning. So you need the tiniest bit. This is a Demi brush, and I just kind of fluff it on there. And you see how it just creates that really pretty shadow. The reason I do this before doing anything else is because let's say I had like a giant, I don't know, spot of melasma there. If I neutralize that with one of my other colors and then go with this on top of it, it's just going to wipe it off. So it really helps if you do this is called a sculpt. Instead of a contour, we call these neutral colors our sculpts. And you can use them to outline your lips. You can use them on your eyes. I'm going to show you that in a second. But that's why I do this first. And because look at how much of a difference that already makes on that side. You don't have to put too much where you already have a shadow, because again, this isn't creating coverage. This is just filtering and toning. So if you already have a shadow, you can kind of skip that areas. The whole thing with this is we're only putting it on where we need it and leaving the rest of the skin free, because we don't want to neutralize our whole face. And I'll get to more of that in a minute too. And I have more bite-sized pieces of this on my Instagram, and I'm going to break this down into smaller tutorials, but I wanted to just kind of do a full demo for you guys today so you guys can see what this Demi thing is, because you've seen so many pictures of it. And I had to get certified in order to be able to like teach this to you guys and sell this to you guys, because it is so different. There's literally nothing like it on the market. So, you know, there's a learning curve to it, but once you get it, you fall in love. Okay, so I feel like I'm decently sculpted. I might actually add some more on this side. But now I have some nice dimension to my face, and it's already making, like, I have zero makeup on here, zero makeup on right here. And it's already making my face, my skin's luminosity shine through. I like to do a little bit of nose contour, so I'm going to take a smaller detailed brush and just do a little bit right there. You can see how, and like I'm using, guys, with this, you do like the smallest, tiniest tap. These are highly pigmented creams made in different levels of saturation from the color wheel. So when you go and look at them, they're going to say like a R1, that would be red 1, or this is like neutral red, like I said, because the sculpts are neutrals. Then on the tip of my nose, I kind of want it to be like that. So I'm just doing a little bit of contouring, creating a shadow that makes your nose look slimmer. And then I'm also going to do a little bit around my lips. The cool thing about this for the lips is you can just contour your lips like this. Throw a little gloss or balm, comes in these kits too, and then just leave them be. You'll never have to touch up your lips at all, but your lips will look so naturally pretty, and then you don't have to touch up your lip color, because who likes to do that? But it's gonna make your natural lip color shine through. Okay, I do like a tiny bit on the top, but I mostly do the bottom. And like I said, I already have a gloss on, but look how much, a lot of days I'll just leave my lips like that because my natural color is shining through. And the shape of my lips is shining through too. Okay, then I'm going to put a little bit of that. The sculpts you can use on your eyes, which is really cool. I'm just going to use that same NR one. And again, like if your eyes are super purple, you could use like NY on them. You can get really creative with the sculpts on your eyes and kind of do like it's going to be a more neutral eyeshadowy look with it, obviously, because the whole thing with Demi is letting your natural beauty shine through, but that does not mean it has to be boring. I'm even going to put some under my eye. If you've ever noticed, a big thing I'm going to teach you, everybody looks at their face and says, I want to get rid of my under eyes. Obviously, I already did on this side. You can see how big of a difference that is. But I don't know if you've ever noticed when you look at a child, they have a little bit of a dark circle under there. And it's Kara, the creator of Seint and Demi Colour, she calls it God's eyeshadow. And if you took that, and you would never think like, oh, that looks ugly on them. Of course it doesn't. You know what I mean? So like they look beautiful how they are. And their skin is like so pure, especially when they're babies. Like my son is 1 year old and you can see he has this little bit of purple here. But if you look at them and if you took that away, it would make their face look so pale and ghostly white. It wouldn't actually look healthy. So we don't actually want to wipe out everything under our eyes. And that's why it looks so pretty when you add some color under your eyes like I'm doing here. And when you do that first, you actually won't need to neutralize as much under your eye. So I hope that makes sense. And again, like if all this is just going over your head, don't be worried. You can totally get this. And once you do, it's so fun because you'll see in a minute, it kind of becomes like a treasure hunt on your face. But you can see how I'm just kind of doing that like normal eyeshadow with that sculpt, and it just looks like a really pretty warm neutral eye. I did not do the other side yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. There are 5 Demi brushes that are all used for different things. This one is basically like an eyeshadow brush. And so I'll tell you a little bit about the neutralizing because that's what we're going to do next. Everybody's skin has color, even if you are like the fairest of fair. I'm trying to think of like a really fair actress, but even if you are the fairest of fair, your skin has color. And so we don't want to just wipe all of that out because we're going to have to, then you look super washed out and you don't look natural because underneath our skin is layers of oils and water and flesh and all those things, and those colors are actually shining through. So what happens is when there's areas of excess color, not when there's areas of color, because you might look at your face and say like, oh, I have redness, like, or here, or you may think like, oh, I have, let's say like somebody has a patch of melaza. Oh, I have a big patch of brown. It's the excess color on top of your skin that is like making it be a distraction, we call it. I don't want you guys to think like, oh, I need to look for the flaws on my face, because it's not a flaw. It's just an area that has excess color that's distracting from your beautiful skin. So it's nothing. I really want you to get out of the habit of thinking that like, this is a flaw, that's a flaw, this is a flaw. You are beautiful just how you are. This is purely just bringing out that beauty and neutralizing and brightening it and just neutralizing the areas of that excess color. That's it. So when you think of it that way and you do your makeup, it's very mind-blowing because when you look at, like you can see on this side, I already have it done. When you look in the mirror, then you're not going to be like, oh, well, I just look pretty today because I have makeup on. You're going to truly believe you're beautiful because you'll be like, wait, am I wearing makeup? Oh, wait, I am. But I actually really think I look good. Why do I think I look so good and I'm not really wearing makeup? You are, but like it just, you finally believe that you're beautiful. And that's the journey I've seen myself and so many people go on with Demi, and it is just like so cool, and it's really a mind transformation and like not about a makeup product at all. And that's like Kara's mission with this whole thing is like she got so sick of people feeling like they need to put on a pretty mask to be beautiful, or like it's only for some people. like beauty is just for, you know, if you're a supermodel or if you look a certain way or if you wear a certain size. So that was kind of like our whole thing with this. Like, why are we approaching it that way? We should just be looking for like the beauty in ourselves. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing Demi and why I think it's so cool. Okay, so my eyes are done. My sculpt is done. Next, I add blush for the same reason I do sculpt first. If I find a distraction in this area, so an area of, or just call it an area of excess color, if I put my blush on first, I'm probably not going to feel like I need to neutralize it, if that makes sense. Or if I do try to neutralize it, it's just going to wipe right off. And I'm just using, I think this is R05. I'm just using like a corally color blush. The blushes come in like different bundles. The rule of thumb with blush is basically look and see if your skin's more yellow or more blue, and then go on the opposite side of the spectrum. And that's the one that's probably going to be like the most flattering for you. These corally colors tend to look really good on me. You'll kind of know. The way Demi works is like if you do it wrong, you just wipe it off. You're not doing your whole face. It's like a little spot. So it's a lot of trial and error in the beginning. It is for us artists too. That's why I said we had to get like certified. I had to go through like a whole thing just in order to even be able to teach this to you. So it's okay if you don't get it right away. Okay, so you can see how that really added a lot of color, because on my skin, I need to add color. Cool part about this, you don't have to do sculpt. You don't have to add in any color. If you just want to like neutralize your under eye, you can just do that because there's zero makeup. When you do this, like you cannot see any makeup texture on my skin at all. That's the awesome part about it. Nobody knows you're wearing makeup. They just think you have perfect skin. Okay. But if you want to, you can add in those things. Like you have total control over it. Whereas like if you put on like a liquid foundation, you cannot just put that on in certain spots like this and you will see texture, and you kind of have to do other stuff or it just looks kind of flat. So that is what this like just solves so many makeup problems that so many people have come to me with over the years. So it's really cool. Okay, so we added in our color, which would be our sculpt, and then our cheeks. I'll put a little bit, the cheek colors you can put on your lips too, and I sculpted out my lips. I just put it on my finger usually. It just adds like a nice flush. Matches my shirt, which is still my workout shirt because I haven't gotten that far yet today, but I wanted to get on live for you guys. So I've been trying to do this for a week, but we all had this stomach flu. And it was a nightmare when a 1-year-old and 9-year-old and both parents had the stomach flu, as you can imagine. Okay, so now, this side is done. Now on this side, I've added in my sculpt and my color, okay? So now there's not really like much left to do. Now you're like, wow, So now I want you to look for 3 distractions. Start with 3. If you feel like you have more after that, you can do it, but it's best to start with 3 because if you try to just go after everything, you're going to over neutralize your face. Then you're going to have to add color back in, and that's not the point of Demi. Then you get makeup texture. So for me, this under eye area, and I think I like broke a capillary there or something, would be an area of distraction. Don't even necessarily look at areas. You can look at like issues. So like I would say like redness and broken capillaries, darkness under my eye, and then I have like just like a tiny bit of scarring there. So we'll go with those 3. And then I'm going to teach you about how we neutralize those. These are your rules of thumb. We are looking for excess color. You're going to look at this and say, oh, well, that's purple. It looks purple, but what is the excess color in it, right? Because our skin already has a color. If it was on a white sheet of paper, yes, it would be purple, but our skins have color in them. So what is the excess color that's making it distracting? You can see I didn't completely cancel out over here, and that's what makes it look natural and not have texture and makes it have more luminosity. So we're looking to neutralize the excess color. Okay, so here's the characteristics. Blue is dark. That means something excessively dark. So if you see darkness, it's excess blue. If something's very, very vibrant, like a zit that's ready to be popped, then it's red. If it is vibrant and very saturated, if it's very saturated and dark, then it's purple. Yellow is very weak, so it's usually not distracting on your face. It's very, very rare that yellow would be distracting on your face. And then green will show up really muddy, like freckles or light melasma or a light dark spot type of thing. If it's a dark sunspot, then it's probably blue because we know blue is dark. And orange usually does not show up on your face unless it's like in the center of like a really angry zit. 99% of the time, it'll be red. Okay? So basically, most of the time you're looking for like the red, blue, violet, and then the green is anything that's mulchy. And I have cheat sheets on all this, so don't like get crazy confused. Once you hear it a few times, you'll get it. Trust me. I am not an artsy person. Not at all. Okay, so when I look at my under eye right here, mine's like very excessively dark. I'm going to look for the darkest points in the distraction. I'm not going to go in and slap on like concealer. I'm going to go after the darkest points first. So this is very, very blue because it's very dark. So I know that it has excess blue. And I'm going to take the tiniest amount of product. There is a Demi brush that does this, and just only go on top of that color. If you get outside of the color, we're applying color from here to the exact color on the face. If you get outside of it, it will halo. And then it's going to create a distraction around it. The same thing will happen if you over neutralize. It will actually draw attention back to the distractions. So look at that. It's completely disappeared. And then you're going to say, okay, do I need to keep going or is it still distracting? I feel like it's still distracting me here. There's still some dark points left. But it's very important to stop yourself and say that, because if you don't, you will over neutralize, like I said. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple more dots there. There's a small Demi brush called the Spot Brush. I just don't have it yet. I'm using the Multitasker from the 3D line, and it picks up like a little extra product. So that's why I have to kind of make sure that... Okay. That's completely disappeared. Now I'm still seeing a bit of a distraction there. That one's like a little bit more vibrant. It's a little more purpley. So I'm going to take a little bit another color in it. And I'm just going after the darkest spot on it. You can see already. You saw I just put like 2 dots on that. It's just awesome. And then a lot of people will have melasma pool here. So as I've gotten rid of the other excess color, I can see that I have like some sun damage there, which is pretty much always, if you have our brush cleaning tile too, you can just clean your brush off in that to make sure there's not excess product on it. So I flip my brush over and I'm going to use a pink color, like a light red, just on these spots that I can see are mulchy, making sure to just get it on those spots. Because a lot of times that's where the rest of the distraction is that you're seeing. So if you look, it's like literally almost completely gone. I see like one more spot. Isn't that crazy though? Because you guys can see I'm barely putting anything on it. I just completely neutralize it. I'm seeing like a little bit more. I want to get right there. And if something seems like 2 colors, we have certain colors that are like red orange or red yellow. So there I put like a little bit of, it depends what kit you get. Some of them, they like mine aren't, I don't have a lot of the mixed colors because I have a smaller kit. So what I do is I just mix them together then. So if you had like, you're trying to get rid of purple and blue, then you can do like a yellow orange, if that makes sense. And you'll know if it's the wrong color because when you put it on and then, you know, you quick tap it out, you'll be able to still see the color, or there will be texture or something like that. So that's how I know if I have the right color or not. And if you get the wrong one, that's totally fine. You just wipe it off because we're not putting it all over our whole face. I mean, it's like a dot. It's not a big deal. Okay, so for me, that's neutralized enough. And then when I look in here, you can like even brighten this area if you want to. For me, I'm pretty yellow there. So I'm going to take a very light violet color. This is V1. which is the opposite, and just kind of use that to brighten it a little bit. You can get extremely, extremely detailed with this, or just go very simple. Like you can see that just brighten that inner corner a little bit. You can totally just get rid of, if you're like, I have a blemish I don't like, you can just get rid of that. So you can do as much or as little as you want. Okay, but I said I was going to stick with my 3 distractions to start. So I'm going to get back to that. So I feel like I'm happy with my under eyes. And then I started tackling the redness. Now I'm going to look at the redness on my chin, which isn't, I'm trying to put my head above the comments for you guys, which really isn't bad. And generally what you want to do whenever you have a larger area like that, I never want you to just swipe across the whole area. I want you to get rid of the darkest points within the area. And then often that will make it less distracting, because it's not bad to have some pigment. So this is, even though it appears red, it actually is excess blue because it's very dark. So what I do is I go in and I find the darkest points. And I just kind of, usually the points are not going to be larger than a sesame seed that you're neutralizing. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. If you guys get the spot brush, I highly recommend that because it picks up a lot less product than the one that I'm using. So you can already see that looks like very, very neutralized, because I don't mind having a little bit of color there. So for me, that's good enough. You can keep going if you want to, but for me, I'm fine with that. It's not distracting to me anymore. Nobody looks at my face and just looks straight at that. Okay, so our redness is gone, our under eye darkness is gone. Third distraction, I'm just gonna take care of these blemishes. You may think like, oh, there's no way this will work on blemishes. Kara has had really bad breakouts and did a video where she actually wiped the Demi off, and then you could see her blemishes. It's over on the Facebook of Demi Colour and the Instagram, and it's amazing. This is awesome for blemishes because typical, so this is dark, so I'm going to put orange on it. Typical foundation, you have to get right on the color. If you go outside of it, it's going to halo and it's not going to look good, and it's going to create a new distraction. Typical foundation doesn't really cover your zits. It just creates a bunch of texture over top of them. This one's really dark too. And really small. So I had to be like really precise with it. But it's like completely disappeared. And there's no texture. So that's the really, really cool part about it. Okay, so for me, like that's my distractions. That's all I'm really worried about. You can start, and I can show you guys this another time. You can then get more detailed and start to look for things like, for instance, around my lips, I'm like really green right there. So I'll just show you, like, you can just be done there. But if you want to start to get really detailed about it, this is how you get detailed. So I see like, okay, I'm like, nobody usually looks at this area on their lips. I'm very green there. So I'm going to take R1, which is like a light pink, red, and just, this is where you can do, when we're brightening, you can do kind of like some more washes like that when we're working on shadows and stuff. Oh, and I'll show you my nose. But can you see what a difference that made? And then I see like a little bit there. And you'll have it, like your face isn't symmetrical. So just because you do same thing, one thing on one side doesn't mean that you're going to need to do that on another. But that alone, the little things with Demi, especially if you're like me where I don't have a ton of acne, I don't have a ton of melasma, it's the little details that's going to really make your skin shine through and make you look different. Okay, I realized I have a broken capillary here that I have it on both sides. And I did on the other side, and now I can tell that it's unbalanced. So, but because it's dark, I know it's blue. So that's what I'm going in with. Just very, very lightly around the edge of my nose. Those little tiny distractions. Now my nose is basically completely green up and down on the middle. So I did contour the sides because it is, freckles are generally excess green. So I have tons of freckles on my nose. So what I do is I take R1 And then just to like brighten that and make it less muddled, I'm not going to go in and get rid of every single one of those freckles because I kind of like them. But to make it less distracting, I just am going to run this up and down the center of my nose like that. And now that color kind of broke them up a little bit in between that sculpt. It makes my nose look more contoured and brightens it a little bit. And then you can even like brighten here. Like I have like some green there I can see. So I'll use like a little bit of that Seint color there. It's probably like honestly just sunless tanner that's pulled a little bit. That's like an area where sunless tanner will pull on you. In case you guys didn't know that, now you do from me. So I just brightened there. So you can just see that. I'll show you another area you can brighten like right on your Cupid's bow. I'm going to take violet and just go right on here, and it creates like a Botox lip flip. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just so that your lip actually like looks like it's turned up. Botox actually will turn it up. Like, can you see that? Such a difference. So that's basically it. I'm going to brighten a little bit here because you can see it's like a little bit green over there for me. Picked up the wrong color. So I know some people also, like the other thing I get is like, oh, is this going to be like super boring? I don't like a natural look. No, you can see you can go really glam with it and really detailed if you want. It's a different kind of glam. I mean, obviously I'm not putting like glitter on my eyelids, but it can look really, really gorgeous. Like even if you look at like Kim Kardashian, J-Lo, a lot of them do like looks like this where their skin is just glowing and it looks really glam. So you can make this glam if you want to, or you can like totally just stop at the under eyes. You can do whatever you want with it. You're in total control over it. Let's see. I was thinking I'll brighten this area a little bit. It has like a little bit of blue in it. So let's see what the orange does there. Just slightly. Slightly brightening under that brow. Okay, I'm going to stop there so I don't keep you guys all day and my baby's starting to wake up. So that is Demi. If you have any questions, as always, you can feel free to message me, fill out the Demi quiz, and I can tell you what would be best for you and like what you would like, because you can just get a neutralizing. These are called edits. Instead of bundles, we call them edits. So you can just get a neutralizing one that just includes colors that would like neutralize and filter under eyes and brighten. Or you can get where it includes sculpts too, and like lip and cheek colors and whatever. So that is Demi. Any questions you have, as always, just holler, fill out the quiz, take a look at the website. Demi Colour is a different website than 3D Foundation, but they share a cart. And that is just so that you guys don't get confused and think that you're buying like something for 3D Foundation and it's actually for Demi, and vice versa. It's just like, think of it like two different kids, but just have the same parent. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, you guys. I will be back with another tutorial at some point. And yeah, I hope everybody has a good weekend. Take care.